सभी को नमस्कार. Myself Dr. Umesh, Associate Professor in Goldfield College of Education, Village Chaisa, Ballabgarh, Faridabad. Today the topic of discussion is Flanders interaction analysis. Ned A. Flanders has given the analysis of classroom interaction between teacher and the taught. He gave this system of analysis in 1959. According to him, teaching is an interactive process. Interaction means participation of teachers and students in the process of teaching. In this process, teacher influence the students. Students also interact with the teachers. Interaction takes place among the students themselves also. It means in the process of teaching, everybody interact with every other person involved in the process. Flanders' system of interaction is known as the most popular technique used for analysis of teacher behavior and interaction going on in the classroom at a particular teaching learning situation. It tries to categorize all the sets of possible behaviors while interacting with his students in 10 categories divided into 3 major sections. The name of these major sections are teacher's talk, teacher talk, students talk, and third is silence or confusion. The application and utilized Flanders interaction analysis mainly involved 3 major steps. 1. Observation and recording of classroom events. 2. Construction of interaction matrix. 3rd and last, interpretation of interaction matrix. Teacher influences students through lecture, ask questions, criticizing, giving direction, etc. Students reacted to teacher's lecture and questions, they give response. It is the reaction of the students. It is interaction between teacher and students. Now, what is interaction analysis? Interaction analysis is a process of encoding and decoding a pattern of interaction between the communicator and the receiver. That means there are 2 parties. One is communicator who communicates the message. Second is the receiver who receives the message. Thus, it is a process of encoding and decoding a pattern of interaction. Encoding helps in recording the events in a meaningful way, and decoding is used to arrange the data in a useful and then analyze the behavior and interaction in the classroom interaction. There are 4 major important techniques to observe the interaction systematically. These are Flanders interaction analysis category system. 2nd, reciprocal category system. 3rd, equivalent talk categories. 4th, verbal interaction category system. Now we go the characteristics of interaction analysis. If we study the characteristics of analysis, then we find 1. The classroom verbal interaction can be made more effective. The teacher can increase student participation in his teaching. The direct behavior of teacher may be shifted to indirect behavior, which is more suitable in democratic way of life. The tape recorder and videotape can be used for recording the classroom events. The trainee can encode and decode his own behavior. This technique can also be combined with other feedback devices such as micro-teaching and simulated teaching. Now, Flanders Interaction Analysis Category System. NED-A Flanders developed a system of interaction analysis to study what is happening in a classroom when a teacher teaches. It is known as Flanders Interaction Analysis Category System. Flanders and others developed this system at the University of Minnesota, USA between 1955 and 1960. Flanders classified total verbal behavior into 10 categories. Verbal behavior comprised teacher talk, student talk, and silence or confusion. The 10 categories of this interaction analysis are: 1. Teacher talk, 1 to 7 category, total 7. Pupil talk, 2 categories, that is 8 and 9. Silence or confusion, 1 category, it is numbered as 10. Thus, the first 7 categories include teacher talk, next 2 categories include pupil talk, the last 10th category include the small span of silence or pause or confusion. The first 7 categories of teacher talk are as: 1. Indirect talk, 2nd direct talk. That means the 7 category of teacher talk can be divided into 2 parts. One is indirect talk, second is the direct talk. Indirect talk. In this method of analysis, the first 4 categories represent the teacher's indirect influence. The categories are: category 1, accept feeling. In this category, teacher accepts the feeling of pupil. He feels himself that pupil should not be punished for exhibiting his feelings. Feeling may be positive or negative. Category 2, that is praise or encouragement. Teacher praises or encourages student action or behavior. When a student gives answer to the question asked by the teacher gives positive reinforcement by saying words like good, very good, correct, excellent, carry on, etc. Category 3, accept or uses idea of pupil. It is just the first category, but in this category the pupil idea are accepted only and not his feeling. Here in the third category, only pupil's idea, students' ideas are accepted, not their feeling. If a pupil pauses on some suggestion, then the teacher may repeat in nutshell in his own words or own style. The teacher can say, I understand, what do you mean? Or teacher clarifies or develops ideas or suggestions given by a student. Category 4, asking questions. Asking questions about content or the procedures based on teacher idea and expecting an answer from the pupil. Sometimes teacher asks the question, but he carries on his lecture without receiving any answer. Such questions are not included in this category. Thus, in teacher talk, first 4 categories are indirect talk. They are as category 1, accept feeling, category 2, praise or encouragement, category 3, accept or uses ideas or pupil, category 3, accept or uses ideas of pupils, category 4, asking questions. Now, next 3 categories are of direct talk. That is, next from 5th to 7th category present the teacher's direct influence. Category 5, lecturing or giving lecture. Giving facts or opinion about content or procedure expression of his own ideas. giving his own explanation or citing an authority other than a pupil. Category 6, giving direction. The teacher gives direction, commands or orders or initiation with which a student is expected to comply with, like as open your book, stand up, solve this question. Now category 7, criticizing or justifying authority. When the teacher asks the pupil not to interact with foolish question, then this behavior is included in this category. Teachers like saying what, why, these also come under this category. Now category 8 and 9, these are pupil talk. There are the two categories, 8 and 9, pupil talk. Category 8 is pupil talk response. Pupil talk response. It includes the pupil talk in response to teacher's talk. Teacher asks question, student give answer to the question. Category 9, pupil talk initiation. Talk by pupils that they initiate, expressing own ideas, initiating a new topic, freedom to develop opinion and a line of thought, like asking thoughtful question, going beyond the existing structure. Thus, these are the 9 categories, and the 10th category is silence or pause or confusion. Pauses, short period of silence and period of confusion in which communication cannot be understood by the observer. Then these are 10 categories which were given by Flanders in classroom interaction between teachers and the students. Once again I am going these categories. First 7 categories are teacher's talk, and 8th and 9th category is student talk, and 10th category is silence. In this way, these are the categories. First category, accept feeling. Second category, praise or encouragement. Third is accept or uses idea of pupil. Fourth is asking question. Fifth is lecturing. Sixth, giving direction. Seventh, criticizing or justifying authority. Eighth, pupil talk response. Ninth, pupil talk initiation. 10, silence or pause or confusion. Now procedure of observation or encoding procedure. How encoding is done. The observer sits in the classroom in the best position to hear and see the participants. At the end of every 3 seconds, the observer decides which category best represents the communication event just completed. Thus the time involved in coding only tally for every 3 seconds is 20 tallies in 1 minute, 100 tallies in 5 minutes, and 1200 tallies in 1 hour. In this process only the serial number of the category are recorded. The serial number of that category is recorded on the data sheet by the observer. When the observation is over, the observer shifts to some other room and prepares details on the basis of those serial numbers of the categories. In this observation process, the writing of the serial number of the category is known as encoding. Writing details of the behavior on the basis of these categories is known as decoding. Then encoding means writing of serial number of categories. Decoding means writing details of the behavior on the basis of encoding or these categories. The observer should remember the serial numbers of these categories. That means 1 to 10. The observer must have remembered all these categories. Now, the procedure for decoding or rules for recording or decoding. Flanders category method has many rules for observation without following which the observation is not possible. The observer must remember these rules. These rules help in maintaining consistency and making observation uniform. The rules are: Rule 1. If more than one category occurs during a 3-second period, the observer should choose the category that is numerically farther from category 5, but not category 10. Suppose the observer is in doubt whether the category is 2 or 3, he should write category 2. The observer should not involve his personal viewpoint. If more than one category is active in a span of 3 seconds, and then all the categories should be recorded. If after 3 seconds no category changes, then the same serial number should be repeated in the next 3 seconds. If the time period of silence exceeds 3 seconds, it should be recorded under category number 10. When teacher calls a child by name, the observer is supposed to record a 4th category. When the teacher repeats the student answer and the answer is correct, that is recorded as a category number 2. This tells the students that he has the right answer and therefore function as praise or encouragement. When a teacher listens to a pupil and accepts his idea for a discussion, then this behavior belongs to category number 3. The words always okay. The words always okay, yes, all right, yeah, etc. belongs to the category number 2 because these are the words of encouragement. If a teacher jokes without aiming at any pupil, this behavior belongs to category number 2. But if he makes any joke aiming at some particular pupil, then it belongs to category number 7. When all the pupils respond to a very small question collectively, then the serial number of category 8 is recorded. In this way, this is the process of decoding. First is encoding, second is decoding. In this way, a tabulated matrix helps for encoding and then decoding. After that, the ratio is calculated and it is very easy to calculate the response. The ratio between indirect influence and direct. The sum of column 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by the sum 5, 6, 7 gives this ratio. If the ratio is 1 or more than 1, the teacher is said to be indirect in his behavior. Once again I am repeating. The sum of column 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by the sum of 5, 6, 7 gives this ratio. If the ratio is 1 or more than 1, then the teacher is said to be indirect in his behavior. The ratio therefore shows whether a teacher is more direct or indirect in his teaching. The ratio between positive and negative reinforcement. The sum of column 1, 2, 3 divided by sum of column 6, 7. If the ratio is more than 1, then the teacher is said to be good. Student participation ratio. The sum of column 8 and 9 is to be divided by total sum. The answer will reveal how much the students have participated in the teaching learning process. Then the table is constructed for this one. Now, advantage of Flanders interaction analysis. It is an objective and reliable technique of observing and analyzing the verbal behavior of a teacher and classroom interaction. It may help in understanding analytically what actually goes on in the classroom. It may help in determining the flow and pattern of teaching behavior. By providing feedback, it helps in acquiring the desirable patterns of teaching and modifying one's teaching behavior. Through the use of this system, student teacher may practice and learn new desirable teaching behavior quite unknown to the traditional teaching. It supplements the training technique like micro-teaching and team teaching. It can be used for undertaking research in several areas of teaching, teacher behavior, pre-service and in-service teacher education. As the system's rule is to take, observe, record almost all the behavior of the teacher and the students. It helps to determine the classroom climate. It is used as an observation technique in teacher education program. A teacher can control his teaching behavior, so this system is well suited to be used as a mechanism of feedback device for the modification of teacher behavior. Apart from this, there are some limitations of Flanders interaction analysis. Now, limitations. The system concentrates on the verbal behavior and does not desirable. The system concentrates on behavior and does not describe the classroom interaction or teacher behavior in its totality. Out of 10 categories, it devotes as many as 7 categories to teacher talk and just 2 talk to students. Here are the 10 categories. Out of these 10 categories, 7 categories belongs to teacher talk, only 2 for student talk, that is 8th and 9th. The use of this system envisages highly trained observers and interpreters. There is much scope for subjectivity in the observation of the behavior. It hardly takes into consideration classroom interaction in the form of student-student interaction. The system does not incorporate very essential steps teaching a particular subject. The 4th category of asking questions in this system does not classify the type of questions asked. It does not provide value judgment about and bad teaching behavior. Thus, these are some limitations of Flanders interaction analysis. This Flanders interaction analysis is not applicable in India as the classes are overcrowded. There are very scarcity of trained teachers, and it becomes very difficult to learn all the categories, 10 categories, and also to judge these categories. And a perfect trained observer is required who can observe both the activities or change of behavior of teacher and the students in 3 seconds of span. That means in 3 seconds of the time. In this way, this was a brief discussion about Flanders interaction analysis. I hope that you will get a little benefit from this. Really, if you like this video, kindly go to my YouTube channel, The Educational and Spiritual Consciousness. Kindly like it and subscribe it. Thank you very much.